answering question number 1 at this point. We're going to start off by talking about what iMessaging is. So to get us started, iMessaging is a communication strategy that helps you convey your feelings, your thoughts, and your understanding in a clear and non-confrontational manner. It helps you foster mutual understanding and respect, which is especially useful in classroom or educational setting. All right, so to add to that, instead of using you statements, which can put the other person on defensive and make them feel as if they're being blamed or shamed for their action, it's better to use I statements. For instance, when talking to a child, instead of saying you are being very loud, it's better to rephrase it and come about it this way and say that I find it very disruptive when you're loud because it makes it hard for me to focus. All right, so moving on, some of the areas or some of the situations that using iMessaging can be really helpful would include when you're trying to manage conflict. So for instance, if a child is finding it hard to follow directions, iMessaging will help us convey our feelings as to how the situation is making us feel, and it would help us put the child towards better behavior and maybe make it easier for them to understand why they have to follow certain directions. And also it would be useful to use iMessaging technique when you're trying to get the children to reflect on their actions. When a child knows that how the other person's feeling or why they're feeling a certain way, it makes it easier for them to reflect why certain thing needs to be done or why they have to behave a certain way. And so moving on to advantages and disadvantages. Some of the advantages of using iMessages will include it reduces defensiveness. So if you're not using sentences or statements, you statements, you're not forming sentence that will make the other person feel blamed or put them on the defensive. It would make it easier for them to have an open mind about the situation and want to understand the situation or where we're coming from, because they're not going to feel attacked. Another advantage will include so for instance, it will also help them foster empathy and understanding. That's another advantage of using I statements. So as long as the children understand how their actions are emotionally impacting the other person, it would be easier for them to build an empathetic relationship with the person who's trying to communicate to them. Now, some of the disadvantages for iMessaging technique would include, first one could be that iMessaging technique might not be that effective when it comes to younger children who are not yet at the stage where they are able to grasp abstract concepts such as understanding emotions. So in that situation, it would be better to rephrase your sentences so it fits their developmental stage when you're trying to communicate to them. And another disadvantage could be maybe when you're using iMessaging technique, you're oversimplifying complex situations. So while iMessaging is advantageous when it comes to conveying your feelings in a clear and straightforward manner, however, it might not be that helpful when you are trying to communicate when it comes to a more deeper or complex situation, which might require more problem solving and maybe an in-depth conversation. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the second part of question 1, where I'll be using the case study, which I decided to go with the third case study. And I'm gonna have my friend come pretend to be the colleague, and I will be Barbara from case study.
Hey Barbara, how did that day go?
Hi Sarah. Thank you for asking. I actually meant to talk to you about that. I honestly felt really unsure and frustrated since I didn't get the information about children's routine and their activities for the day. So it would be really helpful if you could give me a quick breakdown as soon as I come to the class. It would help me feel confident, and it would really help me in guiding the children and answering any question that parents have for the day. I'm going to be answering question 2, where I'll be talking about what active listening is. So in my opinion, active listening is a very powerful tool that an early childhood educator can use. It helps us create an environment where everyone feels seen, heard, and understood. And it helps us make safe environment where everyone is welcome to share their opinions and they can talk freely and openly. So active listening doesn't just mean hearing words, but rather it means being fully present, so the speaker sees that they're truly heard and they're truly understood. During active listening, you're not just paying attention to the speaker's words, but also their body language and even the words, whether they're heard or unheard. And so it is about letting the speaker know that when you're trying to promote active listening, you're trying to make sure that the speaker feels that they're truly heard and they're truly understood, their emotions are being valued, and their words are being understood in the context that they're trying to convey it in. So some of the situations that you can use active listening in would include with your colleagues or parents when discussing concerns or sensitive topics. You should also imply active listening when a child is trying to talk to you and convey their feelings in regards to certain situations or whatever they want to talk about. Active listening, there are many advantages to active listening. Some of them include building open relationship and building trust. And it's also advantageous when it comes to teaching children good communication skills. So if you're an active listener and you know that children learn through watching, they're more likely to pick up on that trait and be an active and good active listeners themselves, help improve their communication skills as well. Active listening can also be helpful in solving problems or arguments, whether it's between colleagues or even misunderstandings when it comes to that, whether it's between children, colleagues, or between parents or yourself. So if you're truly listening to what is being said and you're really understanding what the other person is trying to say or trying to ask you, you're more likely to be able to give the answer that they're looking for and help them towards achieving their goal. Okay, so this is the second part of question 2, where I'm gonna be using my scenario. I'm gonna be pretending to be Barbara, the RECE, and my friend's gonna be the colleague, and we're gonna demonstrate active listening within that scenario based in real life situation. Hi Sarah, so was that Leo's mom that he left with?
Yes, that was his mother.
Okay, I see. Thank you for letting me know.
Didn't you ask her before she came?
No, she left before I could actually ask her, so that's why I just wanted to understand what's really going on.
Yeah, she's in the hallway with Leo.
Oh, okay, so you saw Leo in the hallway with his mom leaving together?
Yeah, they left together.
I see. Alright, so would it be okay with you if this kind of situation ever arises again? I'll just double check with you before I check off the attendance.
Yes, of course.
Alright, thank you. Thank you for clarifying all of that for me. I just wanted to make sure that I'm doing everything safely and...
No problem.
Thank you. Okay, so in this scenario, I demonstrated active listening by maintaining constant eye contact when I was talking and having a constant conversation with her. And I was facing her, open body language. I was paraphrasing what she was saying. I was giving her verbal encouragers, like I understand, I see, and I was summarizing what she was saying. I was asking clarifying questions. so I understood what's really going on. And lastly, I was also making sure that there were no distractions and my full attention was on the speaker. So those are the 8 hallmarks of active listening, which was demonstrated here within this role play. Okay, so now I'm going to be answering question number 3, that is asking what other interpersonal communication skill beside active listening I would be using to build positive interaction with my colleague. So the first one I chose to go with is assertive communication, and I'm going to demonstrate how that would be done. Hi Sarah, so I actually wanted to talk to you. I felt quite lost and unsure about the kids' activities and their daily routine. So I would really appreciate it if you could give me a quick rundown as soon as I come tomorrow, because I want to be more helpful with the kids and the parents.
Yeah, I didn't realize you were feeling that way. I can give you when you come. I can give you binder with plans when you come tomorrow.
Alright, thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay, so for this one, I used assertive communication. I conveyed my point in a clear, precise manner, and without blaming my colleague, without putting the fault on her, I took responsibility for my own emotions, and I used I statements to convey my feelings. And the advantages of this are that this kind of communication leads to low chances for creating misunderstanding, and it opens up the ground for good communication, and it gives me space where we can resolve conflict, and it helps build trust in the relationship between me and my colleague. I was able to convey my emotions without her feeling defensive, and she was able to cooperate and guide me and help me. Okay. So for second interpersonal communication skill, I decided to go with conflict resolution, and I'm going to demonstrate it and then I'll briefly talk about it. Hi Sarah, so yesterday when I wasn't really sure if you lived with his mom, I got quite worried about that. So I was wondering if we can come up together with some kind of check-in system so this doesn't happen again.
Yeah, it makes sense. We can bring the paper together and check the board together and at the end of the day.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
No problem.
Alright, so this was conflict resolution, where you are focusing on coming up with a solution together rather than blaming the other person for or making space for misunderstandings. So you're trying to de-escalate the situation instead of escalating it. The advantages of this is that it helps you create more stronger communication skills and stronger collaborative environment with your partner or with your co-workers, and it also helps come up, it's a solution-based problem-solving skill. Alright, so now I'm going to be answering question number 4, the first part. So two of the responsibilities per Humber's code include talking with respect and civility. So as an RECE, you should talk to the parents or communicate with the parents or your colleagues as well as the children with respect. And the second one would include maintaining confidentiality. So disclosing child's or the family's personal information without their consent is unacceptable, and personal information should only be shared with the authorized individuals. Now, two examples where effective interpersonal communication is essential would be, the first one would be during parent conversation about child's behavior. So you should employ active listening to listen to parents concerned, and you should handle this situation with empathy and care. And the second would be working with teams to come up with to resolve classroom issues. So you should approach your colleagues with respect and understanding, and come up with use problem solving skills rather than blaming. So for example, if you realize that you're having issues in class because of different scheduling, you can approach your colleague and you can talk about maybe aligning your schedules and or coming up with shared schedules so the children have a constant schedule, that a consistent schedule that they can look forward to, and it's less disturbing for them. Okay, so after graduating and registering with the College of Early Childhood Education, I will be guided by Code of Ethics and Standard of Practice, which is gonna help me. Okay, so it will help me maintain positive and respectful partnership with the families, adults, especially with everyone that's going to be involved in the situation. So, be it with adults, children, families, or even my colleagues. So the two key factors or key standards and how they're gonna influence my communication include the first one being standard 5, professional boundaries. So as a professional or registered early childhood educator, I'm required to maintain my professional boundaries. I'm required to maintain clarity as well as respect privacy. So I'm supposed to keep the communication about or information about the families or the colleagues or even the children personal, and I should avoid gossiping or sharing this information as if it's my personal information that can be shared. And I should use formal channels. For instance, if a child is absent, I cannot just go ahead and have an informal chat about that. I should discuss the concern using proper protocols. Okay, so for the second point, it would be standard 2, which is partnership with families. So as a registered early childhood educator, I should build open and cooperative partnership with the families based on trust, respect, and confidentiality. So I should use inclusive and effective communication skills and especially involve families in decision making. So for my communication, I should be inclusive, and I should adopt how the communication should be based on the family's needs. So for that, I can look at their cultural background, and I can look at their languages, their abilities. I should also encourage collaboration. So that is to say, I should invite families to share observation, their ideas, and their child's learning that is not just happening in school but also at home. And I should also use different methods. So for instance, I should combine face-to-face chats, and I should use emails, maybe post schedules that should be accessible to the parents, and I can even have the materials translated if that's possible, to keep the families involved and part of the circle as much as possible. So maybe, like, for example, when a parent asks about the weekly program, I can let them know, here's our weekly schedule. For example, we're doing outside art on Wednesday at 3:30. Please let me know if you would like to know more or if you would like in-depth detail about the activity.